Kirkistown Racetrack, County Down, and we have an appointment with the Yokohama Uno Cup, the ultimate high-speed traffic jam experience. Meet the men that matter in the 1999 series, the sensational newcomer Rob Copeland in his first season of racing.
When you're fighting among these lads and they're all around you, it's a bit crowded. They're like little wasps chasing you along. So it's good fun. It's good fun. So hopefully now we'll be able to keep at it.
Andrew McKinney has progressed from mud plugging to metros and now Unos.
This season we're really on the pace. Had a win and a second. Hopefully she'll be there with Quentin and Robert.
Quentin is the second member of the Smith family to take to the tracks. His brother won the series in 1998.
The first race I was finishing sixth, and the last race we had a bad qualifying session, but then I got a good run when it dried out, and I got out ahead, and it was home from there. It wasn't a problem, you know.
Paddock, we see the grid, and on the grid it's Quinton Smith on pole position. Beside him, Bob Copeland, then Andrew McKinney, then Hugh McAvoy, Paul Riley and Michael Clune. Now, we're looking out the back of Andrew McKinney and we're looking forward from Mark Cuff. And these are all the little 1300cc Unos, and you can see a close start, but a great start there from Bob Copeland. Down that inside, through this very fast left-hander, that's when they're flat out. We're on board with Mark Cuff, getting very close indeed. I think that's Gary Ryan. He just touches the back up, lose the little bumper. We're coming down now into what they call Colonial 1. This is a tightish right-hander into a quick left. Well through, and it's Clune up into second place, McKinney holding that third place, and Smith off pole position into fourth.
And somebody went off there. I think it could have been Turley. We'll look again on the replay just to your right there. Turley dispatched off to your right rather unceremoniously.
And Copeland back out through onto that little back straight as they head for the chicane. And our pole position man, as I said, back in fourth place. So there you see Copeland from Michael Clune, then Smith into third place, and he's dropped McKinney back into fourth. So swapping places already. Everybody been very, very good through the chicane, side by side there. Number 21 and number 50, Simon Norton, Des Ryan, the battle of the Lily Whites, one from Nace, one from Athy. We're looking out the back of that window again of McKinney on that long back straight. Easy on the brakes there for Copeland, but look just how late Clune is braking, and Smith and McKinney.
And they come up through the hairpin for the first time, and we promised you a high-speed traffic jam. That's exactly what you're getting. You're looking at Mark Cuff's car, and we're skipping ahead now to lap 4. We take you from here to the end of the race, and this is the battle for second.
And the STP car there on the inside, Paul Riley just trying to do a do-or-die manoeuvre, but McKinney just snapping into him. Remember that very fast left-hander is there, but the next one is a right-hander, and it's to the inside line. It's a quiet one. Again, look at that. Just having a look at that inside line. He slips through by Clune and demotes him one place. That's Paul Riley in the background. They're heading through Colonial 1, through Colonial 2, but Riley hasn't given up yet. And the yellow car in the background is Hugh McAvoy in the 087 car.
And we're looking out, just to remind you, looking out from the back of McKinney's car, who is in third place at the moment. There he is, just going through picture now. Quite a jam there. The battle really now all for second. There's Smith in second, then we have McKinney third, and then we have Clune in fourth place.
Clune, and then it's Riley, 77 there. That's Seamus McCartan bringing up the battle, but all 8, the first 8 very close together. We're back on board with Mark Cuff, just through the chicane, out onto this long back straight, and these little Fiat engines, you'll be amazed just what punishment they can take. Smith there in 67, then McKinney turning in 90, then Michael Clune. Hugh McAvoy just making a nice move there, but look at Riley. He's got alongside him coming down the straight, and coming down the straight, when they go through this left-hander, I keep on saying, if you can keep that right-hand side of the road, the next one is Colonial 1, and that's the one to be. But no, look at the way McAvoy just steps by and gets over into the line in front of Paul Riley.
Almost forgotten Bob Copeland there, who's out in front, nice lead. Quentin Smith now under a big challenge from McKinney, and battles the whole way down the field. And really, what an absolute fund of talent has come into this Yokohama Fiat Uno racing in the last couple of years. We're looking back now at Michael Clune there. Michael Clune, very experienced, very much involved in the organisation of this series. And you will see by the side of his car, he's been in the wars a bit.
Yeah, just getting it out a little while there on the curb, but cutting it nice through the chicane at nice time. McAvoy, then Riley, then McCardle and Brendan Travers. Now that man there, number 54, is actually the man who prepares the leading car for Bob Copeland. But look at this, spread out on the back straight, so it's the last of the late breakers. You can see McCardle making up that ground there as they come into this. It's a hairpin, but it's a very wide hairpin. We said before, there's a number of angles you can do. You keep it nice and tight. Travers looking nice and tight there, but you can go wide and come out around the back of someone. Mark Cuff there on the outside. He's letting Ryan, I think it is, up that inside again. Yes, indeed it is, number 90. I think Gary Ryan that he's battling away with there. That's side by side, and that's what not to do. So there you go. It's Copeland from Smith, McKinney, Clune just getting through their Cuff there as they come out of that corner, and then McAvoy hanging through. That is the quickest part of the circuit, and heavy on the brakes here for Colonial One.
So we're watching this little battle down the field a bit with Mark Cuff, a camera car there, number 55, and he's back, as the saying goes, amongst the dogs, Brian.
And it's a battle, dude. He's beginning to make a little bit of space there, but they're not going to let him get away too far. But a great battle all the way through this whole Uno Class. I can hear a lot of tire squeeze. There's someone going off. We're back up the front. You can see that Smith demoted to that third place. McCardle and Travers still battling away there. Back on board, clipping the one side of the chicane, just a little lift up over the curve. You can see how his head bobs around and he gets it up a little bit too high and back out onto that back straight, and the screams this little 1300 engine as they come down into the hairpin. Back with our leader, Copeland, heavy on the brakes, but that Smith has moved up into second place.
Just what I was going to say, it's a lot closer. Quentin Smith, the pole position man, is really putting on the pressure. We move back to this battle for about 8th place at the moment, and they're having their own private little war. That's Brian Redmond there, who you saw battling with Mark Cuff there. So two great clumps of Unos, of Yokohama Unos, battling it out. But this is the most important one. This is for the lead.
Bob Copeland must have thought he had it all won, but all of a sudden Quentin Smith has turned up the old brain box, never mind the turbo. He's pulled a few car lengths on McKinney, and now he's all over the back of Copeland. Now, can he cope up here? I think this is his first visit ever to Kirkistown. You can see that he's getting right on that bumper. Let's see, can he stand the pressure? Keeping the central road as they head for the chicane. You don't want to turn in too early. He doesn't want to launch it too much. Let's see. Nicely over it, not too high. Gets out nice and quick and pulls about a half car length. Now, this is what he's got to do. Coming to the hairpin, he can hold that inside line, but then he's got to think in his own mind, will Smith go out wide and try and come across the back of him? He's actually been very brave, moving out to the left, leaving that inside line, moving back again, so this is confusing Smith.
They're doing about just on the ton before they go on the brakes for the hairpin. They're down to probably about 35, 40 miles an hour again. And there's a young Andrew McKinney, very young man, but yet quite a lot of experience already in motor racing. In third place, we're looking at the back of him to Michael Clune just behind him. And then I think it's McAvoy behind that again. And there's that little clump. We can see the leader, Copeland, taking all the pressure. You've got to be impressed with this guy.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. Have another inside side. He's going in too late on the brakes. Will he make it? No, a little bit of understeer. This is brilliant. Copeland just lets him through. Says, okay, if you think you can brake later than me, go ahead. He understeers, but again, McKinney having a look at that inside line. Will he get it before the right hand as they come back out? Yes, he does. Now he's lost. Really lost out there, Smith, because he outbraked himself, and now he's been bumped down again. So McKinney in between himself and Bob Copeland. But this is what Copeland wants. He wants these two to fight and fall over each other and let me away again.
Well, that was a gift for Copeland, but look behind Clune and McAvoy. They're very close also, but that was a gift for Copeland because these two, they went so much offline to try and gain a place there that Copeland managed to get away.
Coming through, and he's taking that chicane beautifully. You can hear the little scream of that Fiat engine that said, watch Copeland here. This is McKinney just coming in nicely, turning in on the chicane. A couple of car lengths, that's all you need. It looks different because they're under braking there, but once he gets the power down, you see he's pulled it out. And this is the shot from McKinney back to Smith now. In fact, McKinney at the moment, as he's beginning to make a little bit of daylight, he is indeed. That's Michael Clune, but McAvoy now beginning to climb on board, and you can see again the side of Clooney's car. This was one of the hard men of Unos or Ritmos, but he's quieting down now, Michael Clune now, and he's just in. And McAvoy having a look at that inside line. Will he do a Smith on it? No, Clune lets him through sensibly. There was a time there'd be a wing and a door invested there.
Another factor coming into that, look at the rain on the windscreen. We're back with Cuff, and it's now beginning to rain, and beginning to rain quite heavily. So this could make it very interesting indeed.
And there's a situation there that actually the rain could be at one end of the circuit and still have a dry circuit at the top, because you're close to the sea here. The breeze comes in off the sea, and you'll get a wet Colonial 1, Colonial 2, and nearly up as far as the chicane, whereas the hairpin is dry, and it looks it is down that end of the circuit where it's raining. And will they be caught out?
Remember, all these cars are on the road tyres, so essentially if it does rain, although the circuit will become very slippery, Smith goes through into second. Has he got it? He's just slipped up into second, a beautiful manoeuvre, and he's right now on Copeland's tail. This is really hotting up.
Well, McKinney running around the back, that line I told you about, wide, and let him go through on the inside, and I'll come around the back from now. They're side by side, remember, through the left hand, lots of windscreen wipe, but this is a brave move out on the fastest part of the circuit. He's got to get by, otherwise McKinney will be down that inside line and grab that second place again.
And conditions changing dramatically. Now, who's going to be the smoothest in these new conditions? McKinney's looking good. He's still in second place. Copeland still leads. We're looking back at Smith in third, and McAvoy coming up in fourth place. And Smith goes again.
Smith sticking the nose in there when it's not wanted. They're getting back out onto that straight, and this would be about the slippiest part of the circuit. They're side by side. You can see them heading up for the chicane. He's on the right place, and McAvoy's having a look now. Would McKinney be in trouble, or maybe he's been very, very good and would just slip it through before the chicane? But the best man of all was Copeland that time. He kept way out to the left of Colonial 1, left the door open, took the widest line and the quickest one. This is the danger man.
So McAvoy now challenging for third place. And remember, these are front-wheel drive cars in these sort of conditions. The front wheels have been spinning all over the place as they nearly pull the arm sockets out of the drivers as they come out of the bend. But it's Bob Copeland who's really got away in this situation.
Yes, he's benefiting from the lads falling over each other, but he's driving absolutely perfectly. He's using all the road. You get a little bit of wheel spin in the damp. They're coming by the stand, so it's Copeland, McKinney, as you can see, Smith, McAvoy, and Clune bump back down there into fifth. Plenty of spots of rain on the camera, getting spread out a little, but as you say, this is the fourth place man looking for that third place off McKinney. Smith still up there, coming in very late on the brakes, and how he didn't hit him, I do not know.
We're on the penultimate lap, and there's a lot to be decided in this one. They're out now. On to coming up what they call the double apex right-hander, a very slippy part of the course. McAvoy, and it's Smith's gone wide. Smith's lost it. He's off, and somebody else is off. I think it was Travers there is off on the outside as well.
Travers gets it. Oh, something locked up, Mark. Cuff has gone off. You can hear just the silence on the bumpies. Normal transmission will be resumed as soon as possible as he heads for the grass. That's your replay. But that is at the end of the circuit, which I said is close to the sea. Most of the rain down there and terribly slippy. Now let's get back up front and see what's happening while he wheel spins off the grass. And they are side by side. Don't forget this here. The yellow car on the right is between McKinney and McAvoy as they come through. And this is the battle at the moment for second place as they head out onto the main straight for the last time.
And there's contact. McAvoy is dispatched off there into the barrier. I think he got a gentle little nudge now. I wouldn't really like to blame McKinney for that one, but certainly McKinney wasn't giving him too much space. That's what it was like inside in replay. You can just see McAvoy spinning off, but you really can't tell from that picture what the situation. We're on the final lap. It looks pretty well decided now. Clune is going to be third. He's been given a gift of third place there, and I think it's probably Travers up into fourth.
Travers is up in the fourth. Remember, Brenda went off the road, but at fourth place in his own car, and a first if Copeland keeps going up the front there. I think, in fairness there, McAvoy just moved over to close the door slightly, and he hadn't really got by McKinney because McKinney had the barrier on the right, but That's a motor racing accident, but that's no doubt about this man. You can see the conditions. They haven't improved, in fact, getting worse as he makes his way up to the hairpin for the last time, and he has pulled out that lead. I don't think Clune is going to catch McKinney for second place, but what an exciting Uno race. Everybody having a cut everywhere.
And new talent has outed. There's no doubt about that. That's McKinney in second place now with Clune. We're looking back, and there's a man getting his first win here at Kirkistown, Bob Copeland. Congratulations. But McKinney now leads the championship. And in second place is Travers. To be spraying the bubbly in your first season, that's tremendous.
I'm delighted anyway, I can't believe it. I was happy the first day just to go out and mix it, you know, the top 20 if I was lucky, but this is a dream come true, you know.
Whenever the rain came on, it sort of all spread out a wee bit and got a bit of a break until the second lap from the end. Hugh McAvoy caught me and a bit hectic again, but it worked out.
Very happy with the car today. Happy with the result I got, considering the rain in the middle of the race. It just eased off a bit and it came back to me.
So Copeland takes his first Yokohama Cup win, but Andrew McKinney is now 21 points ahead in the championship. The Italian saloons may have the speed, but when it comes to numbers, the Unos are number one. And number one on a number of occasions this year has been a newcomer.
I was doing a little bit of rallying, done a couple of touring car races. Just ended up helping a guy who lives down the road and just got into it, and he loaned me a car, and then did a couple of races. I did the park, and I did the Super Prix here last year and the Leinster Trophy.
2 seconds in the first, that's not driving an Uno, that's winning an Uno.
You get lucky, some people get luckier than others, but Brendan's done a great job on the car. I mean, it's more or less down to him, but I can't believe it. I mean, I was so nervous the first day to be going out at all. Like.
The Unos are so popular that they have to hold a qualifying race, and that's where we take up the action.
And missing off that pole position is Mark Redmond, but a great start there from the second row of the grid for Michael Conway. That's the yellow car, but this is the qualifier. That just shows you how many of these there are. Brian Redmond from the outside of the front row. He's the man who's going to make it into that first corner. On the inside there we have Warner McAllister really fighting to get through there, but in second place and firmly just through the left-hander there, it is indeed Michael Conway to go out into the country. So it's Brian Redmond from Michael Conway from Warner McAllister. And Conway got his head down there. He's set out after Brian Redmond as they head out.
Oh, Brian
into the
Haid, Brian is off through the gravel there. Brian Haid, number 30, he's out of it. It doesn't look like he's going to go any further. He's stuck on the wrong side of the gravel trap there, so he looks to be out of it.
Yeah, that's not the place to be. He was looking forlorn there, but look at the battle there. Travers is in there battling away. Oh my goodness me, what an amount of Unos. I didn't know there was these many Unos made and all, but they're out there. Travers there, 54. Wade Haid, I should say, still getting out on the car. There's a long gravel trap. It looks a lot shorter there, but it's not. Look at how close he's got Conway. McAllister under fire from our old pal again. Michael Fitzgerald, 81. The ex-Capri driver making return to saloons for a bit of crack, and he's having some crack going down that inside.
And he's just lined up perfectly to slip through down the inside of 73 there, so Fitzgerald goes up a place. Travers is in the middle of the war there in the blue and yellow car, and number 22 we just saw going through there, that is David Pratt, another one of the Carlo brothers.
David Pratt getting through, and out there goes Michael McAllister, and look at what's going on behind number 90 there, Gary Byrne, getting alongside David Pratt and down the inside. And this is the quickest Pratt, having a look at that outside and the side by side on the quickest part of the circuit. Just lost out, and another Byrne in the background there, Chris Byrne. So all the Byrnes, and 27 there, Leo Nolte beginning to make a name for himself.
And Brian Redmond and Michael Conway have really pulled away the pack, a rare thing in Uno racing. And look at this, a fight at Travers coming up the inside, trying to get past Warren McAllister, and he's pushing Warren McAllister out of the way. Travers, and he gets collected by number 90 there. Pratt was involved in that. There's a lot of damage done in that. McAllister's going to get going again, but that was quite an incident up here at Motorfit, and the man that's really suffered, another Pratt, bites the dust. It's not been a good weekend for the Carlow men.
We're jumping ahead to lap 10 in this qualifier. That's the third place man, Michael Conway. But just look at the front of Brendan Travers' car. Well, he was closing the door but braking early, but I think Brendan was helping him on. But at the moment, number 90, Gary Byrne, has benefited, and also number 39, Chris Byrne. So the two Byrnes at the moment have got Travers in a sandwich, and they head out into the country again. But it starts to spin, but David Pratt unfortunately caught the back of the car, and I'd say he's out. Down in the quickest part, and Brendan keeping the shoe in as hard as he can go, and Gary Byrne, he's right on the back of his bumper. You can see the side of the door of the Uno, a very second-hand Uno. But these two, believe it or not, even though they're tussling away or pulling away, and Travers haven't got the inside, but Redmond up over the hill with Conway. In the background is Michael Fitzgerald, the third place man. Out of Motorfit they come, and a long gap, heading for the flag. Armour the man ready to go. A win for Redmond. Second will be Conway, and well done Michael Fitzgerald in third. But look at this battle.
And all those will get into the final, but who's going to be fourth? There's absolutely nothing in it. Travers trying the inside, Byrne on the outside. I would have given it to Travers by a whisker, but we'll have to wait and see the result. In fact, as Travers just gets it from Gary Byrne. So the top finishers in the qualifying race join the pack grid for the final, and our onboard men are Bob Copeland and Michael Clune, who share the fourth row of the grid.
And on pole position for this one is young Andrew McKinney. Beside him, Quinton Smith. We all remember Gavin from last year, and a good start there from McKinney on the inside in the red and white car. Smith a little sleepy. Hugh McAvoy, the full man from Dundalk, makes a good run in there in third place. We can see Paul Riley, we can see Greg Turr, we can see them all having a run down the inside. There's not room for anybody, and unfortunately looks as if Copeland came down on an ambitious run down the inside, caught someone. We got 1-2 out at the moment, and I think that's how, don't believe it, but our onboard car of Michael Clune, a little fire on it. Watch it now from the outside of the grid, and it's Clune as he takes off out the outside. That's Greg Turley in front of him, makes a nice move. Blue and red there beside him is Paul Riley, just gets over into a nice braking area, doesn't get much, and then whack, 1-2 out, catches Riley, sends someone else out. But I think Copeland's in the wars.
Yes, no doubt. Clune's gone. Clune, we see the car was on fire momentarily there, but he's perfectly all right. He's out of the car. Now we're going to see it from possibly the culprit, Bob Copeland. Bob Copeland coming down the inside. Clune on your left, number 25. Riley there. He whacks Riley. Round he goes. And Copeland gets off fairly light there, gets back on course and back in about 5th position in the race as he continues. So here we are. It's Smith from McKinney in 2nd place, number 72 there. And then in 3rd place, the new man in the phone car from the border country.
Hugh McAvoy, Greg Turley right on his boot, and the man that was asleep on the grid for the second time, Mark Cuff. I'm going to have to waken you up, but you've got well back up again. And there's Copeland back at it now. This is where it all really happens because of that thing in the first corner. You can see that they're all bunching up. These are the cars from the qualifying race. We see Redmond there, we see Byrne, pace car. That black and yellow flag is to show there's a pace car, so there's a car in the way somewhere on the circuit. So what they do is they follow this car around while the lights are flashing. About halfway through the lap, the lights are out now. They should be well bunched up. They've blown it because Smith is going to make a serious start. You're not allowed past, right?
That's Bob Copeland coming into the pits. He must have a stop-go penalty, so maybe he's getting a little lecture from the clerk of the course. But as you say, Brian, they should be far closer together. They should watch more American racing.
As they go up the hill, they could be on each other's bumper, provided they don't pass each other before that green wave flag. And passing, they are. They look like a big, long, high-speed train. 10 cars apart, lad. Forget it. This race could be over unless Smith makes a mistake or McKinney can turn up the boost. Smith did it perfectly. That's the stop. He's been held there for 10 seconds. We are told from a good authority is for that little manoeuvre down the inside and taking Paul Riley out of it. Smith, after the restart, this is the man who watched the pace car.
Right, Smith really got it together. McAvoy there in 3rd place, and then we just saw Mark Cuff going through, and the rest of the cars. There's the man who won the qualifying race in about 6th position at the moment. So Quinton Smith, number 67, leads, brother of Gavin Smith, who's the current Yokohama Fiat Uno champion. And there they come up the hill now. But McKinney, the man who leads the championship at the moment, trying to get on terms with it. Hugh McAvoy in third place, then Greg Curley in the Argus car in fourth place, then Mark Model's car, and then number 77.
Seamus McGardner just bursting his way through there at the moment as they come up that hill. And 82, I think it's Aidan Byrne. They're all heading down to this first corner, but again McKinney beginning to creep ever so closer, but that's blown it all, locks it heel, and you'll see the gap. You can't make mistakes. Up over the hill we come again as he turns in there. That gap not too far. That's Copeland. He's just come back after being done for that 10-second penalty. Exhaust flapping around, so unfortunately ignore him. He's out there doing the times, but he's not at the race. This is the third place man. If you recognise those yellow colours, you've seen it on Brian Hartley's car. A great support for Brian in the Formula V's, but a great run here from Hugh in his first year in Unos. Copeland ignored him. He's not in the picture. There's the third place man, and in the background we should be seeing a battle between Mark Cuff and Greg Turley. Hugh McAvoy again through the left-hander, just clipping the car nicely, letting it run out, not as far as some of them do. McKinney there in second place, again not making inroads.
McKinney, who's come up from mud plugging, would you believe? That's what he started when he was about 14. Comes from a motor racing family. His father used to race Formula Ford and indeed prepares his car. Whereas the Smith family really just came into motor racing a couple of seasons ago and have been highly successful. So there's young Andrew McKinney. He's had very consistent performances indeed. And look at this, 3 cars into one Donko.
And that's Michael Fitzgerald just taking a lovely dive, and 21 there just going off the road. And
Simon Knott nearly parking against another one of the Unos.
Yeah, Hugh O'Byrne's car from the previous lap and getting into this one really tight at the top.
And we're back with the leaders who are now peeling off the laps, and really time is running out for Andrew McKinney, number 72. He really needs to be a little bit closer. It looks like Quinton Smith has got this pretty much under control, but very little control there for Leo Nolte, who smokes off the Modern Tyres car there. We're looking at the battle now for 5th place between Mark Models and Sean McCardle from OMA, and we're now back with the leader.
Back with the leader we are. He hasn't put a foot wrong. Car nicely balanced by Aidan Fields. Right-hand back wheel just coming off the ground. That's the way they all run. If you don't do that, it's not right. And there it is. I heard, I came, I saw, and I conquered. Unfortunately, that was the man who went on fire on the first lap, Clune, sitting on the fence. They're up there looking down on this as they come through the S's, and you can see the gap from Quinton. Third place man being dropped a little, that's no deal. He's not going to do any more. And McKinney hasn't given up yet. He was out as far as he could. Third place car there is Copeland. Remember, he's been lapped. Again, that wheel off the deck, but Smith will not be intimidated, Alan.
Smith making that car legitimately as wide as he can, but it's a very, very, very close thing now as McKinney goes on to another lap. Can McKinney do it? Smith juking left to juking right. Now that was a little bit naughty there, and nearly losing it as a result. So Quinton Smith is suddenly under pressure from this young man, Andrew McKinney.
Did I say it was too late? It wasn't too late, because McKinney nearly got away with it there. He just jinked it, nearly lost it. But again, McKinney lets him through that left-hander very, very quick indeed as they head out into the country. The car again rocking a little bit, under braking into that second gear and out. But I think it may be too late. He had his chance, I think, and a good chance he did. He came down. Quinton closed that door on the inside, went to flick to the outside, nearly lost it, but great car control, and he's back into S's, and McKinney is back with him again.
McKinney really trying a little bit of grass there. He's been off into the scenery at some stage during the afternoon. But Quinton Smith now looking a little bit more in control. He's only really made one mistake, and that was at the beginning of this lap so far, but it's very close indeed. Forget this car, number 60. It's a back marker. Next man up is Hugh McAvoy. We're waiting for the checkered flag. It's going to be Quinton Smith who's going to do it. Smith does it. McKinney second, doing his championship's hopes an awful lot of good. And in third is going to be Hugh McAvoy.
So this is as they finish. Smith from McKinney, Hugh McAvoy, then Greg Turley, and in 5th place our old pal Mark Cuff.
A spoils victory for Hugh McAvoy and his first ever podium. What a big day it is for him. Andrew McKinney moves further ahead in the Yokohama Uno Cup with another second place, and Quinton Smith gets his second win of the year.
I've been watching him on video, watching the pace car a few times, and I'm just trying to get it right. And since just watching him, I really got it together. Thank God. I got a good start in the beginning, and the mechanics worked very hard to get the car right for today, and we put a lot of practice in it. But we got there eventually, thank God.
Well, back at Mondello, it's the turn of the Yokohama Unos. There's so many of these little 1300cc cars, they had to run a qualifying race. But we're concentrating on the final.
Got to win today to keep ahead of Quentin, who's second in the championship. If I don't win and he gets ahead of me, I've it all to do it at the Leinster Trophy.
And the Leinster Trophy, but there's another man on the front row, Michael Conway, a complete stranger to the front row. You could ruin his party.
I'd hate to ruin his party. I don't want to ruin anybody's party. Have a good time, enjoy myself. But I'd like to get my first Uno win, but I won't ruin anybody's party and I'll do my best for the day.
But second would be good enough for him. Maybe he'll let you ahead.
I'd be very grateful. I'd even buy him a drink. That'd be a first.
McKinney is the main man and he's on pole beside your Copeland.
Yeah, but they won't really be a problem. Once I can get out there, get a clean run, I should be able to get up with them or get by them, no problem at all.
Got Quinton Smith behind and he might have something else to think about.
Definitely. That's one man I didn't want behind me. I think he likes picking on me, but I don't mind. He's a good out skin, and hopefully we can keep him behind.
It's very exciting out there. I'm a very large entry in the class. It's great to be mixing with the boys, and in the Phoenix Park I had a good result, so I'm hoping for more or less the same this weekend.
Sadly, the weekend proves to be a disaster for the talented Thai girl, as she has a hefty accident on the opening lap of the Uno qualifying race. Thankfully, Denise, although a little winded, is not hurt, but she does not join the 24-car grid for the Yokohama Uno Cup final, where Andrew McKinney and Michael Conway occupy the front row. Our onboard camera is with Dave Maguire on the inside of the 6th row, down amongst the dogs, as the saying goes, a position which usually guarantees action.
Now, can Conway do it? He's put it on the front row. Can he make it into that first bend? Now you see where our onboard is, way down there. Not a great start on McKinney, but look at the man from the 2nd row. Bob Copeland having a look out the outside again. Down alongside McKinney. Is he going to get away with it? He is indeed. He's going to pull it off. And Conway going around that outside into 2nd place. We're on board again with Dave McGuire, but Paul Riley just in front of Mark Cuff just ahead of them, and McCardle there. Everybody having a run through, and the Cuff getting sideways, losing out, spinning it out onto the grass. Not quite as bad as Denise Ryan's one, but it's still taking a bite out of the bank. We're back with this man, but what about that start, Alan?
And there's the man that did it, Bob Copeland, and it's hard to believe that he's only still in his first season of racing. The Uno stream through. In the middle of the pack is our onboard camera, back in about 8th place, as we said in the wars. There he is, just ahead of him, Liam Kavanagh. They're coming down, he's trying to dive down the inside here. There's contact, round goes Kavanagh. And Maguire's off on the outside, he's hit again, he's lost a lot of places. The rest of the field goes streaming through. That's not doing his chances any good whatsoever.
Would you believe he's joining in 23rd place? So Dave Maguire has it all to do. Maguire just getting through there. That Mick Fitzgerald, ex-Capri man, driving well in this little Uno, and you can see Michael Clune side by side there. So all these guys battling, no doubt about it. Smith at the moment wants to take that place from McKinney, holding that inside line to McKinney up into 2nd place, and a bite out of the back of McKinney. Quinton Smith does it. Meanwhile, Michael Conway has been demoted back to 4th. I don't think he's going to stay there too long, because that front row, it's nice to be on the front row, and you're going to have to stay there. McKinney, this is the trio, battle for 2nd place. Our leader just gone through. So it's Andrew McKinney, again closing under Braken Smith, and Conway closing on him as well. That is really, it is what this class is all about. They just rev these cars about 8,500, 9,000 revs. They don't care, and they can take it.
And this is a big, big weekend for young Andrew McKinney, just 19 years old there, number 72. If he gets a good result here today, he can win the championship, which will be, I think, his second championship. He's already won the Little Metro Championship in the North. This is much more competitive. But Bob Copeland, surely one of the men of the year there, number 60, still leading. There's Quinton Smith, he's also new into this game. His brother won the championship last year, and then Conway, who admits to being no spring chicken, they're in 4th place.
Travers alongside Michael Clune as they come down the straight. It's side by side, the blue and yellow car of Travers, who, by the way, prepares the leading man's car, Bob Copeland's car, inside line. Travers, plenty of rallycross experience, and Michael Clune's car looks as if he's been the crusher already. I think he's had it on both sides, but not to worry. A new shell is sorted. Matt Dunn now is the next victim for Dave McGuire. After getting back off the grass, he's having a run through the left-hander, little clip of the curb, going out the sun, just beginning to catch his eyes. Clune at the moment on the tail of Travers. This battle for 6th, 5th and 6th as they go up there, I think it is, but at the moment McKinney's still out, and you can see just getting very, very late on the brakes, Copeland, but is brave enough to go out. Little touch there from McKinney, but he uses that long outside line, and when he comes out of the second part, he'll have 2 car lengths.
Well, Andrew McKinney from Tandragee will want to win this championship in style. He'll be looking for nothing less than an outright victory here this afternoon. All those others, and particularly there at the moment, Quinton Smith of other ideas. Quinton Smith pushing the man around. He's gone. It's a disaster there for McKinney. He's stuck in the barrier. The whole world seems to be going by. I don't think the car's damaged though, Brian. That's one good thing.
Well, that's the new pit lane that they've just put there. A lot of soft soil, but he'll be sucking himself for that. I don't know, at 6 of one and a half dozen the other. Of course, Smith could have backed off and McKinney could have let him have a little bit of a room, but that's what Uno racing is all about. I'm not sure how the stewards are looking at it, but that's their problem as well. Meanwhile, this man has it all to do. He needs to win, remember, so this puts Michael Conway back up into 3rd place. Smith there, not getting away from Conway. Conway driving extremely well, and these 3 have actually pulled away. You can see the battle now. Fitzgerald just holding that 4th place, while McCardle and Clune with a slightly battered looking. I never really had a look at Michael Clune's car, but it has to be the worst, and I mean worst Uno out there. 17th place for our on board now. Carrick coming up on Mr. Monks.
Really battling his way back up through the field. No problems at the moment. Bob Copeland really has now got it all his own way, but a battle on for 2nd. Then another little battle for 4th place, being led by Fitzgerald, McCardle, and then Clune in that very narrow little car, dives down the inside, a nice move. He doesn't let the car out. He could have let it out a little bit more there, but they're absolutely side by side. He lost a little momentum on the straight.
Another little rub off Seamus McCardle won't improve the appearance of the car, and he might add a little bit of paint. So they're getting very close to get into that corner. A little rub here and a rub there. You don't look to it. Fitzgerald just flashing through camera there. Seamus out on the outside, but the next one is a left-hander, and Seamus's car begins to look the worse for wear. That door, driver's door, well pushed in as they go out into the country. Again, a long way round for Michael if he's going to do it. Oh, and a dive down the inside really caught him napping. Late on the brakes. Can McCardle do anything about it? Clune gathers it all together, and he gets a little nudge, a little help. Oh, well, that's 1-1 at the moment. That's 2-1. Will it be 3-3? No. Well, that was well held.
And I'd say that the officials will have a little word to say about that. But meanwhile, our man is battling back up through the field. He's still got the problem with Dunn on his left. He seems to have just managed to dispose of him. We're back with the leaders, 1, 2, 3 up the hill. 4th place, Fitzgerald now all out on his own. There's Clune, who's got free of that after that big tussle with McCardle. And in fact, David Pratt, number 22, has come up ahead of number 77, McCardle.
Look at the difference between David Pratt's car and Michael Clune. This is one of the most immaculate little Unos. You think it just came off the actual assembly line as he holds that inside line. Clune goes through, looks in the mirror. And then it's David Pratt. Then again, McCardle coming out the outside, gets a tap there from Matt Dunn, dives from the inside. Brendan Travers looking at the inside line. And David Pratt, nice and easy, little bit of a mark on the door. Now they're 2 abreast as well in the country. And there's battles all the way down. This is yet again, this is McKinney making his way back up, would you believe, from 17th to 18th place on the grid. I don't think there's anything you can do about it.
Well, he just has to keep in there. He's got to hope that it gets a half-decent result here this afternoon. He could still be in with a championship chance. We're now on lap 8 as they come streaming down the hill from Motorfoot Corner. You're looking at Pratt there leading this big gaggle. This is a battle for about 7th place, 6th and 7th place here at the moment. McCardle, who as we saw is in the wars, he's alongside Travers on his outside. And then we've got one of the 2 Burns in that battle, number 90.
90 is Ken Byrne, and followed by number 39, which is Chris Byrne. So the 2 Byrne, Travers on the inside again. Travers and McCardle side by side. And they have closed it, and in that background is number 90, Ken Byrne. He's actually following McCardle through. He's going to take that chance. Will he get through? But Travers trying the long way around. Has to get it out onto the curve. Will he lose the place? But he knows that the next one is a left-hander and he's in the right one. That 39 there, that's Chris Burns. So 2 Burns, Travers and McCardle.
Budget racing at its very best in this Yokohama Cup qualifier. And all the way down the field we're enjoying these dices. 54 is Travers. Meanwhile, our man still trying to make up. That's still Monks ahead of him, but not for long. Monks is round, number 70. So another place gain, but still he's only in about 14th or 15th place.
And look at the effect this onboard camera has. You never touch him, just the effect of the camera with an easy reach of a competitor, and he spins all on his own. Smith still holding Michael Conway away, and it's not safe that 2nd place. He's having to keep an eye on his mirror because they're at it everywhere. David Pratt, McCardle on the inside, Travers on the outside. He is long way around. He's hoping to do what he did on the previous corner, get into that left-hand side. I think he's too far back. He's not. A superb move over the curve and moves up another place. Meanwhile, back with poor Dave McGuire. He has it all to do again.
And he's catching up on McKinney. McKinney's the leading of those cars there. So McGuire, who's trying to just make up places, could well affect the whole championship here because McKinney's car doesn't seem to be going that well at the moment. And in fact, he's not making up places. If anything, he's dropping back and causing a bit of a traffic jam. Brendan Fitzgerald behind him and Simon Knott.
That's our leader, Bob Copeland, supported by his dad in the Copeland roofing business. I'm sure he's surprised. He probably didn't even know he could drive. He probably didn't tell him he was going to Mondello the first day, but he should be proud of the way he's operated. Remember, if he wins here today, he'll have won at Kirkistown, he'll have won at Phoenix Park, and now he'll have won at Mondello. 2 laps to go. Copeland, Smith, Conway, Pratt and Travers. I don't think there's anything anyone can do about the leader, but I still think Conway could get that 2nd place.
Conway, as we saw in the interview, very ebullient about his practice getting onto the front row of the grid. Bob Copeland, Mr. Super Cool. He looks like a veteran in motor racing, yet he's only in his first season. And there, Quinton Smith, we've got to also give him credit because he's also in his first season. Bob Copeland has had a little bit more, Michael Conway, I should say, had a little bit more experience.
Yeah, Michael, true competitor, enjoys it. I'd say he'd be enjoying this race, whether it's 2nd or 3rd. He's given it everything he has. Not much between the 2 cars, but these 3 surprisingly have pulled away from the 4th place man. And the battle with Travers, of course, and McCardle, that's what's holding them up. You'll see as they come through the 2nd part of the S, up the hill into Motorfoot. Late on the brakes, turning in, he's having a look at the inside. Michael, just a little bit too late. That's trying to unsettle poor Quinton. That wouldn't do it. You'd have to slap that fella on the head to unsettle him. Here we go, straight on the back of that gearbox, or boot I should say, as they head down. Looks like a straight Mondello, but there's actually a slight curve to the left. Smith out onto the quick line, onto the brakes. Conway follows him. Out of 2nd gear. You've got to get right over to the right hand side of the road. You see them dive for it to get the slingshot through this corner. And in fairness, he pulled a couple of car lengths on him there.
And as you can see, tremendous development taking place at Mondello. We're watching the budget saloons, but of course next year it's going to be a round of the British Touring Car Championship here, and that was bound to bring in the crowds in their thousands. Meanwhile, the 2 novices continue to lead. The more experienced Michael Conway there in 3rd, who's got definite designs in 2nd place. But time is beginning to run out for him now, just about a lap and a half to go.
A lap and a half, anything can happen. But Copeland at the moment, he hasn't been under pressure all afternoon. He's had one little lap there where Smith was taking a bite out of him. He didn't move, he's held his line, held the quick lines and pulled it back. And now, in fairness, Quinton is busy with Michael Conway, and these 3 are away out in the front. He's coming down now, I think, to start his last lap. It should be. Again, no difference in that gap, but these 3, I keep saying that they've pulled out a long gap. But in fairness, McCardle and Travers have been falling over each other all day, but good motor racing.
Yes, final lap. Down they come into turn 1, into Toyota Bend there. and lifting that little inside wheel. That's pretty common for these little front-wheel drive cars. Meanwhile, we're back with our valiant onboard man, Dave McGuire, who's now got up into 14th place, and that's probably as high as he's going to get in this race. Back with the leader, on his last lap, out in the country for the last time, carrying that inside wheel. Nice close-up of him there, using the curb a little bit to steady the car on the outside, up over the hill for the last time.
Down into the S's again. Watch that left-hand back wheel, right hand when you're looking at the screen. Little puffs of smoke there. He's a great line. I agree with that line. You get it out wide, get it into second, and he can just wind it through the second part. And that's a brave race. When you go out that wide, it's like leaving 2 hall doors open. Up the hill for the last time to Motorfit, onto the brakes, into second gear. He's won in Mondello. I told you he's won at Kirkistown, and he's won at the Phoenix Park. This lad is going to be good in the future when he gets into something quicker.
So Copeland comes over to take the checkered flag. He's the winner and the newcomer of the year, undoubtedly, in Uno racing. And a disastrous day for young Andrew McKinney turns into a dream one as the Tannery driver finishes in 17th place. Good enough to give him the 1999 Yokohama Uno Cup title.